for a game like this well in advance, Dick. You just can't pull them out during the game. They felt they were going to get this kind of a problem. I'm sure they have an alternate game plan.
Wagner's kick to Johnson at the 31. And down at the 42, a return of 11 yards. And again, excellent field position for the Denver Broncos, who lead 3-0 with 12:54 remaining in the opening half. Got me in next weekend at 1:30. The best of the NHL. Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux and company. All-Star game here on NBC, and that shows you the advantage Denver enjoys in field position as well as home field and noise and altitude. They're starting from their own 40, while Cleveland's possessions average start inside their 20. Elway this time at the 42. And he comes out throwing.
There's the hook and go.
Incomplete to Vance Johnson, and Frank Minifield had it well read.
It's funny how you plan these things. You look at tapes, you understand it. They felt that they could get Minifield to bite on a hook and then take off on him and throw the ball down the field. So you'll see Johnson up the field, plant. There's Minifield biting, but the ball is a very tough pass to complete because the receiver is not running as fast as he normally would, just releasing straight down the field. So often that pass is overthrown.
It's that same pass that Slaughter worked for a touchdown against Buffalo last week. Quiet it becomes when Elway's calling his count.
Again, all kind of pressure.
And he extricates himself and then throws incomplete to Bobby Humphrey as Chris Pike, 305 pounds of Chris Turnpike, had Elway.
Well, I would think they'd have blown the whistle. It looked like he was in the grasp twice before they blew the whistle, but I guess he got it away. They blitzed 6 people, and again, you're going to see people coming up inside. This is the safety. They're going to bring people up inside. Now, actually, he's going to be covering in the flat, but other people are going to be coming up inside on him. You see 6 people, so every running lane is thoroughly congested with a defender.
Offside, flags are down. Elway a free down, incomplete. Again, they were getting to Elway, who was about as successful as any quarterback with that offbeat count of his in drawing the opposition offside.
He's absolutely expert. It didn't look as though those people, although they moved, were actually offside.
Well, 5 yards. It'll be 3rd and 5.
These are the kinds of things that disrupt the game. Cleveland has an excellent plan, but to make sure that it runs efficiently,
offside, defense number 92, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, 3rd down.
Elway's going to, in straining, he gets his head to move, but it really didn't look like people crossed the line of scrimmage. Interesting call. But Elway has, as you point out, Dick, a way of kicking his head in a sense, just jerking it as he's calling out a snap count, and those defenders see any movement, they're ready to go. Again, 5 people.
The throw incomplete. Well-timed tackle by Felix Wright as he jarred the ball from Ricky Nattiel.
Wright saw that all the way and attacked it a la Ronnie Lott. He really got to it.
Boy, Wright, quite a story. He was not drafted out of Drake.
Now you see the break inside, and look at this man attack the play. Perfectly timed. Again, Elway has an unblocked man all the way. That's a late hit. Late hit. The ball,
to hold up.
Once the throwing motion is completed, it's to be called if they hit the quarterback.
Moran lines his shot downfield and into the end zone, and Cleveland will start from its 20-yard line. So again, deep in its own end, the Browns have the ball, have not been successful offensively, but they've held Denver to just 3.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Coors Light, the one that won't slow you down. The Silver Bullet is the right beer now. By United Airlines, serving over 200 cities in the U.S. and around the world. Come fly the friendly skies. And by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right.
It's an Indian summer. January Sunday in Denver, Colorado. The Broncos leading the Cleveland Browns 3-0 with 12:25 remaining in the opening half. And now the Browns fans will go to work, or the Denver Bronco fans will go to work and try to disrupt the Opportunity of Kozar for his signals to be heard. The silent count you can see anytime after. Oh, that looked just like last week, but Kozar picks it up and throws it incomplete. Henderson and Braxton. It was Braxton with a near interception.
The silent count is up to the center, Rakoczy, to snap the ball at an interval much like using the voice, a verbal count. So he'll snap it at that time interval, but Kozar took his eye off the ball. He looked down the field, and all of a sudden the ball was at him. This identical thing happened last week with Pittsburgh. He should get up under that center. He's just as effective in there as he is as a shotgun.
Well, the silent count is on.
It's a blitz.
And the throw to Brennan, who gets out to the 26, where it'll be 3rd down and 4. Now remember, the Browns on the first play they owned the ball had Kevin Mack run 19 yards for a 1st down. That is their only 1st down of this opening half. 12 minutes to go.
No huddle, Dick. They're trying to get a standard defense out of Denver. They don't want those sophisticated defenses.
Good blocking up front. Ball deflected, incomplete. Ron Holmes got a piece of it, number 90.
Excellent coverage downfield. Kozar looked right, went left late. Receiver covered. Too much pressure. Again, Cleveland is looking for some formula that time, going without a huddle, forcing Denver into a basic defense, the 3-man line defense, and you may see more of that. Kozar's looking right. Now he looks back left, waits too long, and the ball is batted.
Holmes, who is 6'4", leaping up to swat that one away.
Holmes saw it coming all the way. When Kozar looked back, he had nowhere else to throw it.
Wagner's punt. Vance Johnson looking into the sun at the 27. And goes out of bounds at the 31. Lawyer Tillman, the rookie from Auburn, made the tackle. 45-yard punt, 3-yard return. 11:35 left in the opening half. A Denver fan, and it makes us all happy that this season's about to come to an end. I think we've kind of reached our destinies. 3-0. The Broncos start at the 36. Humphrey threw a big hole. And he's out to the 45-yard line. Minifield after 9 with a tackle.
Again, Humphrey is the key man in this game. If Kozar cannot get it going, he's going to just hand the ball off to Humphrey and win the game with that. Now, we can't see the backs, but you'll see a lead back coming through, and then Humphrey breaking up and out with excellent blocking inside, with the defensive line running a stunt basically to stop the pass. Humphrey with the ball is going to make a big difference.
And Humphrey came out wincing. Sammy Winder in for him. Deflected Elway's pass by Tom Gibson. Gibson, very quietly, as a player used in pass situations, has done a solid job. Plan B from New England.
Well, Gibson wouldn't be fooled, because he came up the field that time and he didn't jump. He just put his hands up and got pressure right up on Elway. What Elway wants you to do is jump, and then he moves again and then throws the ball. So they've talked to these players on how to deal with it, John Elway.
3rd and 1, and Humphrey has not returned, so it's Winder and Bratton. Bratton, the fullback.
Big gashes right up in the line of scrimmage.
Changing his play is Elway. 3 seconds on the clock. 2.
There's the option.
And it doesn't work again as Winder is dragged down by Clay Matthews. Matthews, who has one problem if the Browns go to the Super Bowl: tickets. He's got 5 kids, ages 8 to 7 months.
Matthews just comes up the field. There's not really an option, because John Elway's pitching the ball too soon. Elway's coming down the line of scrimmage to occupy defenders, then pitch, but John's not occupying defenders. He's pitching too early, and it's just getting eaten up.
Clay, the lateral Matthews, makes the tackle. Horan now punts, and it is a beauty. McNeil lets it drop, and it kicks into the end zone.
Excellent defensive strategy by Cleveland. Now, whether it'll make any difference in the final outcome is hard to say, because they've got to be able to move the ball offensively. They've got to get at least field position right now.
What a great January we have on NBC Sports with the basketball and the golf and of course the Bob Hope Chrysler Classic, and indeed it's all of that from Palm Desert, California, next Saturday and Sunday 4:30 Eastern Time. I heard you're a pretty good golfer.
I really am, Dick.
Enough said. Kevin Mack behind Kozar. 3 wide receivers. And it's Mack. And he has 3 yards, twisting from Simon Fletcher, number 73.
Cleveland with multiple wide receivers trying to spread the defense, then hand the ball off to Mack. I'm sure they're looking at the entire length of that game plan now to come up with answers against this defense.
Webster Slaughter, the leading receiver for the Browns, number 84, and that's Henderson on him.
Excellent technique by Slaughter.
On 2nd and 7. Kozar caught by Langhorne. A tough catch, and it's a first down at the 32-yard line.
That was tight, but Langhorne's concentration made the difference. It's going to take a few plays like this to get them out of the hole.
Ozzie Newsome said he had an inkling that Langhorne would be the star today.
Well, Langhorne's releasing straight up the field, and he's going to be bracketed pretty well. And you see people going right to the ball, and he just concentrates on it.
Boy, Braxton, who had 6 interceptions to lead the Broncos, number 34, very nearly had that one. The second first down for Cleveland, and we have 8:50 to go in the opening half. Underneath, incomplete to Langhorne, well covered by Mark Munford.
Kozar has to go down the field pretty quick, straight down the field.
Bobby Humphrey on the sidelines bruised his ribs on that 9-yard gain and then came out wincing. We do not know how serious that injury is.
Well, they do have a veteran backing him up who's played a lot of football. And
Sammy Winder.
Sammy Winder had a critical fumble earlier in the previous game, but he's a real veteran.
That's right. It was Winder's fumble in Cleveland when it appeared Denver was driving in for the winning score in the final minutes. And it was after that that Humphrey took over as the starter here in Denver, and brilliant he has been. Kozar to Slaughter. His first catch is good for a first down at the 43-yard line. Webster Slaughter. Beautiful. It was Rod Woodson last week called this man arrogant. He said, I don't like him. I don't know any of the cornerbacks who like him. I said, did you vote for him in the Pro Bowl? He said, yeah.
Well, here he is releasing down the field, straight down the field. You see Henderson dropping into a zone. So Wyman Henderson was acting as though he was in a bump and run man coverage, then ran out of there, and it was a beautiful throw and a well-timed play. Those are the kinds of things you develop over the years, training camps and otherwise, until they're automatic.
Slaughter to the bottom of your picture. And this time it's Tim Manoa who blasts up the middle to the 47. Greg Cragen, the nose tackle from Utah State, going to his first Pro Bowl, number 71, in on the tackle. Bud Carson, do you feel for him at 58? You watched him in the press conference. You've watched him all season long. And in a way, you've kind of agonized with the difficulties that he could not anticipate, even though he's been in the game for 35 years.
Well, he's had all the coaching experiences needed, but the other forces that work on the head coach outside the playing field itself have been wearing on him. There isn't any question about it.
Saddle under center is Kozar, and he throws incomplete to Slaughter on that quick slant. Mecklenburg was in the thick of that one.
That could have been a big play. But Bud Carson, when he arrived in town, Dick, as we sat in his press conferences and interviewed him, he looked just totally emotionally spent, just worn out and physically and emotionally fatigued. Now, that doesn't mean he's not functioning well during the game. He certainly can do that. But it means the veneer and the polish was off. He was right down to the nerve endings.
3rd down and 7 for Kozar. Wide open is Brennan, and he got his feet down in front of the Denver bench. It's a catch and a first down, and Cleveland, for the first time in the game, is in Bronco territory.
Well, now they're getting their composure back, and the simplest pass sometimes is the toughest to complete. But again, it's Henderson on him, dropping straight back, and then the break is so sharp by Brennan. You see Henderson get off balance, and the ball being thrown with perfect timing by Kozar.
And they may be reviewing the catch to see whether Brennan got both feet down along the near sidelines. Let's take another look.
Perfectly timed throw, both feet down.
And it was a good catch.
Certainly.
And Kozar seems to be sharpening his game. Antek changing the game clock. It's really one of the highlights of any football game.
This one. Sometimes the players appreciate just getting a breath. You know, this altitude.
After further review, play stands as called. Completed pass, first down.
This altitude factor, it isn't a factor other than a receiver in a 1 or 2 minute offense having to run a series of deep pass patterns. Then it can affect you. But otherwise, you don't even think about it.
They're still working on the clock, adjusting the 45-second clock. In case you're just joining us here at Mile High Stadium, on the first possession, the Denver Broncos moved quickly downfield and had a 1st and goal at the Cleveland 2-yard line. But the Browns stopped them on the first 2 downs, and on 3rd down, Elway's pitch to Humphrey was fumbled, and Gray Stewart recovered for Cleveland to deny Denver a score. They have just a field goal, 3-0. Kozar going for 6, has a man open, and Langhorne drops the ball.
Oh, you knew that was coming. The play pass and the deep ball, everything worked perfectly. Had the defense they wanted. The ball falls a little short, but Langhorne doesn't handle it. Now you see him coming up the field, breaking to the inside. He's got a lot of momentum on his man, and there's no way he's going to get caught. Just sort of reached just a little short-handed in a way, maybe thinking he could keep his balance or something.
Bernie Kozar, who doesn't always get a chance to see whether his passes are complete or not because he's been on his back a lot.
Well, Langhorne blew by Braxton that time, so he'll be able to do it again later.
Kozar to the sideline. Slaughter. No, he was out of bounds. Didn't get that second foot down.
That one basic play, a timed square out, Kozar's hit perfectly every time he's thrown it. And this is so tight, so close. The ball's caught.
Ooh.
Oh,
looked like he was dragging that back foot.
Yeah,
it looked like he had them both down. Now they reviewed the other. Most certainly they'll review that one. Appeared Slaughter did drag that back foot. Yep, here comes the whistle. They're going to hold up the offense.
Looked like he had that left foot down as he caught the ball.
Watch the back foot.
See? Right there, he had them both in.
It was a ballet step.
It had been ruled incomplete on the field. It had been ruled incomplete on the field.
So apparently the instant replay official did not know how it was called, but there it is. And it's just a very delicate little touch by Slaughter, that back foot.
That's an art for him, Dick. That throw, that catch, the timing involved with it. They're going all the way back to very, very stable, almost simple things that they've mastered through training camp and all season. Denver's allowing him to do that, and he's doing it beautifully. And that's got them on their feet.
Well, Webster Slaughter was an outstanding musician, a top saxophonist. He knows all the delicate notes and the quick movement of fingers, and certainly showed that kind of subtlety in that catch. Almost tough to perceive for the official in his behalf. That's a tough call to make because it was lightning quick, and it didn't appear that he got that back toe down, but it was boom, and that was the play.
It's really an art form and a skill for the receiver to concentrate on the ball and let both feet drag. It's just not a natural movement for any of us.
Well, I know his mother up in Stockton, California says that's a good one. Mother, who was a nurse, worked 2 jobs to raise a family.
Called incomplete pass.
Incomplete. Well,
That's for the replay opponents, that's their argument.
Well,
why bother?
That's right. That's why I say why bother. And I don't think instant replay will be with us next year. Third down. Incomplete. Braxton was right in front of Brian Brennan. And the Browns' drive stalls, although they were a bit unfortunate with a call on the instant replay.
One thing for sure, Dick, Langhorne and Slaughter can outrun Henderson and Braxton, the two corners for Denver. So you know there's a speed factor. Now this isn't a play that you relate that to, but what I'm pointing out is at some point in this game, straight down the field, the Cleveland receivers can outrun the Denver defenders, and they'll have to show up sooner or later.
Now the Browns unable to move, but they have gained some field position. Ooh, Wagner just did get that away. Johnson lets it bounce, and it takes a Denver bounce and goes out of bounds at about the 18-yard line.
Well, I see a spark in the Cleveland offense. Now they have field position for their defense.
27-yard punt by Wagner, who did a solid job of kicking that ball inside the 20 all season long. Wanted a little better bounce. Okay, Elway's turn at bat.
When Denver's using two backs in the backfield, basically a running formation, Cleveland has a specific defense they call. As soon as they spread out, they call another defense audibly at the line of scrimmage. As soon as they see people spreading out, they change their defense.
That is shifting after Elway gets under center.
There's that same play fake. He's throwing back the other way, wide open again.
Mark Jackson at the 30-yard line, about 12 yards on the play and a first down.
They spoke of this fake to the tight end side, away from the two receivers. You see the fake. Now Elway will come right back, then drill a hook pattern to the back side of it. And what is happening, Cleveland sort of relaxing a little bit and letting people catch the ball in front of them.
That's Mrs. John Elway, Janet Elway, a fine athlete in her own right at Stanford University, where she set the individual medley records, pulled records in the 200 and 400. Incomplete into a crowd. 3 Browns surrounding the intended receiver, Vance Johnson.
I really like the way that Gash is playing and Ryder playing, the two safety men for Cleveland, because they're coming right up into passes that are thrown in front of them and are really a factor. You see the hold up right there, but you watch the safeties come right up inside and are right there to make the play. Even if it had been caught, it would have been just a negligible gain.
There's Thane Gash from East Tennessee State. He had 3 interceptions this year, 2 for touchdowns, and led the team in tackles. Second year. Elway under pressure again. It was thrown right at Kyle Kramer. Thane Gash was the man pressuring Elway.
They're bringing one extra man each time, and Elway has to throw prematurely. See Gash leaving, uncovered, safety down the field to take care of it, and Kramer just wasn't really there. He was there in a sense of tackling after the catch, but it was a poor pass. Oh, gee.
You don't know whether she's watching the pass or watched this. What happened to Elway?
Man. So again, Cleveland is keeping Denver off balance, but one big play can break this thing wide open. One big play.
It's 3-0 Denver. 6
they come
minutes
again.
to go. First half. Elway has a man wide open. Michael Young. Young, the former Ram, has a touchdown. Last year with the Los Angeles Rams, a plan B acquisition by Denver, and he has grown in popularity. He finished the year with 22 catches and became Elway's primary target on third down. He likes the out, he faked the out, and away he went.
Well, Minifield was beaten right at the line of scrimmage, and we'll have a look at it as soon as we get through with this.
Treadwell makes it 10-0. And here's why the play worked.
We talked about one big play, and there it was. One error, this time by a Pro Bowl football player, Frank Minifield, and he's going to be right here, and it's going to, the difference will be as the ball is snapped, you see Minifield try to hit Young right at the line of scrimmage, and he misses him. Right there, and he loses him. Now he's knocked off balance. Young's totally uncovered going down the field. But of course it took Elway's greatness, because Elway had everybody chasing him, and he still got it off. There's the contact right there, but Minifield loses. It's really a risky form of playing pass defense. But again, you have to give Elway, again, an endorsement of his greatness, because he had to run out of the pocket and throw on the run.
And Janet Elway amongst those here in Denver that cheers Elway's longest pass of this season, 70 yards.
Well, there it is. You can't get reckless defensively in a game like this. You've got to go back to sound fundamentals that you were taught throughout your career, but going right from training camp.
Minifield, very tough, loves the man coverage, likes to play tight, and especially against Young, not known for his speed, but a little faster than many think, including now Minifield. And they were working on that, the idea of getting Young isolated and not running just a square out, but going deep.
Going down the field. And it was a chancy play by Minifield, almost a contempt for Young, and it really destroyed him.
Treadwell's kick aimed at Eric Metcalf. And Metcalf accelerates across the 30 and brought down at the 32. But Elway, as you pointed out, even off balance, has such a great arm.
He has everybody after him. You see Matthews coming right up inside, 57 chasing him. He throws that on the run. Somehow he spotted Young and made the big play. Just a great effort, great performance. But now Kozar's got to do the same kind of thing. We know that Kozar can get his people past those cornerbacks because they've just got a great speed advantage. So a play pass and going straight down the field might get the thing right back into perspective.
And a high moment for Michael Young. Ball at the 32, 10-0 now, the deficit facing Cleveland. Kozar batted down. Alfonso Carricker.
Carricker coming up the field. Kozar wanted to throw short, but there's so much pressure that Carricker was right in the way of the throw. See Kozar coming out of there, Carricker on his outside, and really the only way you can run a play like that is to get Carricker at the line of scrimmage, cut him down.
Carricker was boxing that one around and almost had a nice 6-point package. Denver leading 10-0 and leading all the statistics in this first half. Kozar, how'd he get that one through the crowd of orange? Langhorne with a catch and a first down, it would appear, out at the 42-yard line.
Well, the one thing he's done, as we've pointed out over and over, is throw what you call a square out pattern. He'll take that ball and get it off quickly and drill it to a receiver breaking out at 12 yards right on the money. Now that takes hours, months, years of practice to be able to time that with your receiver.
And Michael Brooks, the linebacker, drifted back in that zone and made it very tough on Elway to find his man. 11 yards on the play, first down at the 43.
Come on, Bernie, go straight down the field. You got it.
Whoops, has trouble with a snap. Now throws incomplete to Tim Manoa, the fullback at the 50. Rick Dennison on the coverage. Cragen, the nose tackle, had penetrated and was pressuring Kozar, who had trouble getting out of center with the ball.
Well, they're going to whatever they've got, their bag of tricks. A problem in the formations that Cleveland's running. You really can't run any special plays. You can't have a halfback pass, the reverse, the screen pass, because you've got everybody spread all over the field. So Kozar's dictating what he's going to do, and the defense knows it.
4 wide receivers. Kozar, a rare scramble. And a rare straight arm into Tyrone Braxton at the 50-yard line. A gain of almost 7.
Well, this is certainly the most critical play of the first half. With 5 minutes approximately to go, midfield is 3rd down and about 3. This is the critical play. They have to come through right now.
They spotted at the Cleveland 49, a gain of 6. Dan Reeves, he's called this his toughest year in coaching. Changing staff, changing his philosophy, changing personnel. And he's rebuilt in 1 year a team that is headed toward a possible 3rd Super Bowl in 4 seasons. Here's the reverse, and it ends up with Langhorne, and Langhorne runs into Simon Fletcher, no gain.
Really a tough play to run in that situation. They tried a fake sweep, then a reverse coming off that. But the problem in a situation like that,